Hey, Sci Girl fam. Thank you so much for being here and for all the love you give this channel. Today we're talking about something that's become a huge topic in modern psychology and therapy: inner child healing. You've probably seen the term everywhere lately. Therapists talk about it, social media talks about it, but what does it actually mean? Is it just a trendy buzzword? Or is there real psychology behind it? In this video, we're going to break down what your inner child actually is, the signs that yours might still be carrying unhealed pain, and simple research-informed ways you can begin to heal. As always, this video is for educational purposes only. It's not a replacement for therapy or professional mental health care. If you're dealing with deep or complex trauma, please consider reaching out to a licensed therapist. Let's get into it. What is the inner child? The concept of the inner child traces back to psychiatrist Carl Jung, who first explored the idea that we all carry a younger, emotional version of ourselves within us. Psychologically speaking, your inner child isn't a literal child living inside you. It's the part of your subconscious that holds on to your earliest emotional memories, the moments you felt joy, the moments you felt scared, and especially the moments your needs weren't met. And depending on how those early years went, your inner child might be playful and secure, or it might be wounded, waiting for someone to finally notice it. So, how do you know if your inner child needs healing? Let's go through the signs. Whether your childhood was mostly happy or mostly painful, your inner child is still in there. Signs of a wounded inner child. 1. Disproportionate emotional reactions. Have you ever overreacted to something small? And even surprised yourself by how upset you got? Psychologists often describe this as the pain not matching the pinch. When your inner child has been triggered, your emotional response can feel much bigger than the actual situation calls for. That's often a sign that something from your past, not just your present, has been activated. 2. Fear of abandonment. Do you panic when someone takes too long to text back? Do you assume people are going to leave before they've even shown signs of leaving? This fear often develops when, as a child, your emotional needs went unanswered. If your cries for connection were met with silence, your nervous system may have learned that being left behind is always a possibility. 3. People-pleasing and difficulty setting boundaries. If you find it almost impossible to say no, or you constantly put everyone else's needs above your own, this could be your inner child trying to stay safe. Many people who grew up needing to keep the peace at home learned early on that their own needs were less important than keeping others happy. 4. Low self-worth or constant self-criticism. Do you have a harsh inner voice that's quick to criticize you? For many people, that voice isn't really their own. It's an internalized version of a parent or caregiver from childhood. Psychologists note that this critical inner voice can quietly shape your self-esteem well into adulthood. 5. Struggling to express or even recognize your own needs. If you were taught, directly or indirectly, that your emotions were too much, you may have learned to suppress them just to feel safe. Even decades later, that suppression can make it hard to know what you're feeling, let alone express it to someone else. 6. Self-sabotage or repeating painful patterns. Do you ever feel like you keep ending up in the same painful situations, almost like you're stuck in a loop? Inner child wounds often quietly drive self-sabotaging behavior, addiction, procrastination, or pushing away good things, because some part of you still believes you don't deserve them. 7. Difficulty trusting others in relationships. If your early relationships taught you that people are unpredictable or unsafe, that belief doesn't just disappear with age. It can show up later as difficulty fully trusting partners, friends, or even yourself. How to begin healing your inner child. Now that we've covered the signs, let's talk about what actually helps. 1. Acknowledge the wound. Healing starts with acknowledgement. You can't reparent a part of yourself you're still pretending doesn't exist. This doesn't mean blaming your caregivers. It means honestly recognizing what you needed and didn't get. 2. Practice reparenting. Reparenting means becoming the calm, steady adult your inner child needed. When you feel triggered, instead of judging the reaction, try asking, what does the younger part of me need to hear right now? Sometimes it's as simple as telling yourself, you're safe. I'm here now. 3. Get curious, not critical. When old patterns show up, fear, anger, withdrawal, try approaching them with curiosity instead of frustration. Ask yourself, how old does this feeling feel? Often you'll notice the reaction feels much younger than your current age. That awareness alone can be incredibly healing. 4. Journaling and reflection. Writing a letter to your younger self, or even having your younger self write to you, is a technique used in many therapeutic approaches, including internal family systems and narrative therapy. It helps externalize emotions that have been buried for years. 5. Set boundaries as an act of self-love. If people-pleasing has been a pattern, practicing small boundaries is one of the most direct ways to show your inner child that their needs matter now, even if they didn't before. 6. Consider professional support. Inner child work shows up in several evidence-based therapeutic approaches, including EMDR, internal family systems, somatic therapy, and cognitive behavioral therapy. If your wounds feel heavy or complex, a licensed therapist trained in these methods can offer guidance that goes beyond what any video can provide. The 6 core wounds. Psychotherapist John Bradshaw, who pioneered much of today's inner child work, identified what he called the 6 core wounds: abandonment, rejection, betrayal, humiliation, injustice, and neglect. Most people don't experience just one of these, it's usually a mix. And here's the important part: these wounds don't require a dramatic, obvious trauma. Sometimes it's not one big event. Sometimes it's hundreds of small ruptures. A parent who was always too busy. A moment of crying that no one responded to, that slowly shaped how safe you felt being yourself. Healing your inner child isn't about blaming the past. It's about giving yourself, finally, what you needed all along. And it's important to remember, healing isn't linear. There will be good days and hard days, and that's completely normal. If you recognized yourself in any of these signs, know that you're not broken. You're just carrying something that's been waiting a long time to be noticed. Have you started your own inner child healing journey? Let us know in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel less alone. If this video helped you, please like, share, and subscribe to SciGirl for more psychology content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.